So let's get this out of the way. Because of the last episode of One Piece, people are saying that it potentially spoiled Dragon's ability because he's referred to as the Insurgent Serpent in the last episode. And people are taking this line, running for the hills with this thing, and now apparently Dragon is confirmed a mythical Zoan, and people are guessing, oh, well, he must be this Amaru-type dragon. I'm like, bro, this thing, I'm looking at it right now. It is booty butt cheeks. It is dog doo-doo, fecal matter of the lowest order. Like, this is bug fecal matter as low. No, when it comes to the line, the Insurgent Serpent, it could be a way of the world government defining an enemy of theirs like Dragon, which of course he is one of the biggest, like the biggest enemy they have. And we've already seen in Logtown a windstorm appear when he stopped Smoker from taking out Luffy, and he is not transformed. And the upsurge in wind was likely due to him. Baltigo always being windy is probably a byproduct of his own different power. These are Logia traits, not Zoan traits. It feels like because Luffy has a mythical Zoan ability, now everything has to be a mythical Zoan ability. It can't be the case where everything is like this. Keep in mind, in the times of yore, Kizaru said that mythical Zoans are more rare than Logia abilities. Right now, there are 13 confirmed Logia abilities that are canon, and there are 9 mythical Zoans. There can't be that many mythical Zoans, particularly when the Gorosei could have mythical Zoan abilities. Could, not confirmed, but so far could. The number of mythical Zoans cannot, at least if Oda does not want to retcon this, on paper, the number of mythical Zoans cannot surpass the number of Logia. And honestly, a win Logia is pretty damn awesome. I don't see why everything has to be mythical. That all being said, chapter 1097 of One Piece. Father Kuma, man. One of the best parts of JoJo's Part 6 is undoubtedly Enrico Pucci. And when I saw Father Kuma, woo! But let's knock down this chapter step by step real quick. The structure of the chapter I thought was pretty simple. However, the pace of the chapter, we do jump forward in time a lot of times. I want to say this chapter, there's around 7 or 6 individual parts for the pace. We go from when Kuma is 17 years old to when Kuma is 33 years old, which means that Ginny was 21 years old and ends off this chapter at 37 years old, around 16 years. And we focus on certain plots of Kuma's life that go by really quickly. And I really thought that we'd actually focus a lot more on the Tyrant Kuma stuff, but nah, I mean, we just really hop into the Rev stuff halfway into the chapter. But there is an 8-year window from the time he joins the Rev up until the time Ginny is captured. And maybe in that time frame, we're gonna find out more about what Kuma was doing when he was going in between the Revolutionary Army stuff and going back to the Sorbet Kingdom. Maybe. But the fact of the matter is that the pace of this chapter does cover a lot of ground. And for character, this chapter is, I think, pretty simple, and we focus mostly on 3 characters. We focus on Dragon, of course, Ginny, and Bartholomew Kuma. Now, Ginny, let's keep it a stack, yo. Ginny making a lot of guys sweat off the rip in November. NNN might have failed as a result of some Ginny activity. If you don't believe me, you can check it out on my stream where I did my live stream reaction to the chapter on the Cole Requiem channel. And of course, simulcasted, because we can do that now without any issues, thank God, on my twitch.tv channel. All links in the description box down below for that full stream on Twitch, post discussion and all, and of course on the YouTube channel with just the reaction. Ginny had power. It was difficult for many men to deny that, but not Kuma. Ginny wanted to marry Kuma, but Kuma said no. But it shows you just how much she appreciated Kuma, how much she wanted to be with Kuma, and even stuck with him through and through in the Sorbet Kingdom. Even when he was captured by the Knights of Sorbet Kingdom trying to save the elderly, she and those lads, which by the way, if you don't know, now you know, those are the same guys that we see that are part of the Bonney pirate crew. Well, they tried to go in there and save Kuma, made a fuss, and got beaten up too. So it just shows you how much she loves and respects Kuma, particularly after she sees Kuma pull weekly Ronor Zoro Nanimo. Weekly! We'll get that soon enough. And then, of course, the fact that she even joined the Revolutionary Army alongside with Kuma and Aniki Big Bro Ivankov, and was even an Eastern Forces commander. That's impressive. Ginny, we know from obviously what happened on God Valley, she set it up. She has very potent skills. And the fact that she can even become an Eastern Forces commander, the same position that Bello Betty is in currently in real time, her credibility is nothing but secure. Then we find out a dragon, Monkey D. Dragon, was a Marine. So my thoughts years ago that he was a member of Cypher Pole, but clearly, obviously, not the case now. I'll take that. But according to this translation, all he says was, I spent some time with them. Kind of implying not a lot of time. Is it possible that, let's say he could have been a high-ranking Marine individual? It seems unlikely, but it is likely during that time that Dragon learned, of course, certain truths of the world. According to him, he found no justice there. Though someone that could have been a rival to Dragon at that point in time, Akainu, found absolute justice. Found absolute justice there. Yeah. Of course, look at the entire thing with Dragon and his backstory with the Marines at this point in time, because it's a Kuma flashback. But there is an idea here that Dragon is going to come to somehow, some way. Maybe it's some other dragon, whatever, bro. Oh, please. It looks so bad. Okay. Maybe he will wind up on Naked Island, because we do know that Shaka was talking to Dragon earlier during this arc. So maybe Dragon has some ability, something going on, and then he can arrive there, because we're supposed to be leaving with the Vegapunks, but maybe he'll arrive alongside with Kuma, literally flying across the sky like a Dragon Ball Z character as we speak. Only time can tell, bro. What is for sure, for character, is Bartholomew Kuma and his devotion towards good. So much so, he is a man of the cloth. He is a pastor in this flashback. Father Kuma. Made in heaven. Father, Pastor Kuma, using his ability to hit out the pain from the elderly and literally doing the weekly Ronor Zoros Nanimo, taking all their pain weekly. And just seeing that and hearing that, yeah, that definitely got Ginny shook without a doubt. But to me, what came to mind instantly was self-flagellation. It really felt like Kuma was going through a similar process here that you'd see some Christians do, delivering unto yourself pain and surpassing certain aspects of the flesh. So it kind of felt like Kuma was going through that when he was taking the pain of the elderly. And since he was going back and forth between his duties as a Rev Commander and the Sorbet Kingdom, there's a chance here that he was still doing this even when Ginny was 37 years old and he was 33 years old. So he could have been doing this for damn near almost 2 decades. And in a roundabout way, arguably, even though his memories were wiped, it does show you how he could withstand an onslaught of pirates and other forces on Shaboni Archipelago when he was defending the Sunny Go for 2 years. So when it comes to characters, I think this chapter is good for sure. And when it comes to story, you see what Kuma was doing during his teens, and he was at that church helping the weak and the elderly. Ginny was there the entire time, wanted to get married. Kuma said no, not because of his faith per se, but because he didn't want Ginny to go through what his parents went through, Buccaneer blood. So in some ways, he felt like he was cursed potentially, so he couldn't get married, and he didn't want to hurt Ginny, obviously. Though you'd think when she would join the Rev, that'd kind of be moot, but I'll get to that soon enough. He was so willing to try and uphold to his beliefs of the Nika, the Buccaneer, the Dum Da Da Da. Obviously, he defended the citizens when the kingdom started to enact some very grotesque laws to try and meet the demands of the 10 Ubido's tributes.
I volunteer as tribute!
And when he's in prison, this does impress Ivankov and Dragon when they arrive to liberate the Sorbet Kingdom. Now, keep in mind this. The Sorbet Kingdom should technically still be under the 10 Rubitos, the world government's rule, because we saw during the Reverie, Julie Bonney disguised herself as the Queen Dowager of the Sorbet Kingdom. They should still be, I think, technically paying their tributes to the Celestial Dragons. And then we ultimately get to the point where we see them join the Revolution Army, and obviously we got to see when they're older, especially Ginny, when she's 37 years old, and she gets captured and Dragon sweats. Dragon has got to stop sweating. Like, on God. Now we're doing the entire thing when it comes to like the systematic stuff of the chapter. One thing I do want to address real quick is the Bonney thing. Bonney looks like she's around 20, 24-ish. Like that's her age range for the most part. But in the last section of this chapter, in the last page, it's literally 14 years from present. Right now, there's not a single mention of Bonney at all. At all. So it brings into question now, hold on, is Bonney the kid of Kuma and Ginny? Because Kuma, before this last page, there's an 8-year window where he's going back and forth in between the Sorbet Kingdom and the Revolutionary Army obligations. And maybe Ginny was in the same thing. Maybe during this time frame, Ginny and Kuma had a child, because at this point in time, protecting Ginny kind of feels moot since she is a literal member of the Revolutionary Army. So it doesn't really matter if she gave birth to a child with Buccaneer blood at this point in time. I don't think so. But if that's not the case, then what could be the case? And this is where the clones, oh, the clones. This is where the clone stuff come in. I'm gonna give a shout out here to one of my donations on Twitch. Mr. Marvin. Mr. Marvin did point out, and I quote, Ginny's physical and personality traits are kind of like York, where she gets hungry all the damn time. She's ambitious. Her face has those freckles. She does have, and I did catch this too. That hair is very similar to Alice's hair. Alice equals quick temper and the hair. And when it comes to Lilith, it's the physique and the rebelliousness. So he theorized that Ginny was captured maybe by Vegapunk's forces. Maybe it involved the Kainu, who knows? During the reaction stream, people were trying to feat scale again like it was the Flying Six back in Wano Country. Maybe it is a Kainu, but also maybe it could be Rob Lucci. It could be Gin. Uh-oh, he's back. Maybe it was Uroge back in the day and he wore a suit. And let's say it's not as simple as Kuma maybe adopted Bonney at some point off screen, because Bonney only really talks about her father, Kuma, and mentions nothing about her mother. So Bonney could, let's say, have been in the same boat as Nojiko and Nami before they were adopted by Belumer, and Kuma is Belumer. But another crazy but also popular fan theory could be the idea that Bonney is genuinely a little girl. Because maybe, let's say, Ginny was captured, we know that, but maybe Kuma and company, they do rescue her in earnest, and then they have a kid later on. And recently, shout outs to Order of the Library of Ohara. Recently, we just found out that Ginny's love for power is the Toshi Toshi no Mi, the age fruit, making her an age-altering human. So what if, let's say, Bonney was only born 12 years ago? And she's an age-altering human, and she ups her own age passively to kind of be more like 24 years old. Kind of like Chopper in a way, where Chopper, technically, he's a deer. Technically, Chopper should be on all fours all damn day. That's his base state in reality. But merch, gotta sell that. Ooh, fluffy form. Okay, whatever, fine. Maybe Bonney's the same way. There's obviously options here, but it does put into question, I think now, what is going on with Bonney, because Bonney is not on the table at this point in time, and we're 14 years from present in the flashback. There are a few other things too, like for example, if you notice, the guys that are part of Bonney's crew, again, like I said before, are the same guys that we see in the prison cell along with Kuma and Ginny. Those guys seem to be pretty normal and pretty up and up. But when we see them in the pre-time skip, well, as Chris Broussard would say,
is the man retarded? I mean,
shouldn't use that word, but sure.
Developmentally disabled.
They don't seem to be all there. Ultimately speaking, there are things that be fleshed out, but the flashback is kind of moving at a very, very, very fast pace because we just covered a lot of ground. A lot of ground in one chapter. There's a good chance here that we do get back to real time in chapter 1100, and then Kuma comes in there to save Bonney in the nick of time in that chapter. That's my guess, because normally when it comes to those numbered chapters, Oda does something big. Last time, chapter 1000, Luffy punched Kaido. 900, Big Mom finally eats the cake, right? So big things tend to happen in these 100 chapters, and one is approaching real soon. Overall, this chapter, I would say, I think it's a good chapter. I would give it like a 7, 7.5. Nothing near the same level as the last 2 chapters, but still overall a good chapter One Piece. Once again, 7, 7.5. Let me know your stance on this chapter, and if you enjoyed this video, then give it a like. Of course, give it a like. If you enjoy my content at large, then subscribe to the channel and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you cats on the flip side.
See you. Bye bye.